meeting of the Board of Supervisors, special meeting Monday, June 5th, 2017, General District Courtroom, Edwin R. Shields, Courthouse Edition, 11 Bank Street, Chatham, Virginia. Roll call, Ms. Whitmore.
Mr. Barber?
Here.
Mr. Hagerman?
Here.
Mr. Blackstock?
Present.
Mr. Scarce?
Here.
Mr. Davis?
Present.
Mr. Barksdale?
Present.
Mr. Warren?
Present. Can I get a approval of the agenda?
Make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Public hearing, item number 1, a proposed amendment to chapter 6-6.3, property exemption by classification and designation of the Pittsylvania County Code. Mr. Smith.
I'm going to turn this over to County Attorney Baden Hunt.
I'm pinch hitting for Mr. Rowe, who couldn't be here tonight. What you have before you is a tax exemption request from Mid-Atlantic Broadband Communities Corporation. Mid-Atlantic is a unique entity. They are a nonprofit social welfare organization that is focusing on bridging the digital divide, reducing the burdens of government, and promoting economic development and reinvesting in our communities. They are an integral partner with the county in our newly endeavored rural broadband internet project. They have submitted the appropriate application for tax exemption to be added to the Pittsylvania County Code. The Honorable Shirley Hammock has submitted the total loss of revenue to the county of approximately $59,000. I also see 2 individuals from Mid-Atlantic in the audience if they desire to speak. Staff recommends holding a public hearing, and then if the board so chooses, to grant the tax exemption that is detailed in your packet of Mid-Atlantic Broadband.
Okay. You all like to speak? We have Ted and Ted, so. Please state your name.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Tad Dariso. I'm the President and CEO of Mid-Atlantic Broadband Communities Corporation, and also with me is our Vice Chairman of our Board of Directors, Ted Hodges. We appreciate the opportunity to come before you tonight and talk about our tax-exempt mission and benefits we give to the county. As you've seen, there was a pretty detailed list that we've submitted for your consideration. We're very excited that we're able to help expand broadband here in the county and more importantly, help focus on some of the economic development projects that we partnered with the county for several successful projects, as well as reinvesting in our community here in the county. And to date, since 2012, we've donated approximately $68,000 to the county, which includes your high school robotics program, the community action agencies, as well as some scholarships for community college here. So we're very thankful for your consideration and glad to answer any questions that y'all may have.
You board have any questions? Yes, sir.
Just want for the public to know you are a 501c through the IRS.
Yes, that's correct. We're a 501c4 designated nonprofit from the IRS. That's
And other localities that you've worked with have also waived the taxes.
That's correct. We have worked with Bedford County, and they've provided an exemption for us last year. That's correct.
Any other questions at this time? Okay. Hang around, might have some more.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We will open the public hearing at 7:05, and we do have one citizen that signed up for the public hearing, Mr. James Dehart. Please state your name when you come forward, along with your district that you reside in.
James Dehart, Westover District. I'm all for the broadband. I think it's a great thing for the county. But since 2012, I was reading in the thing that they have given approximately $68,000 to Pennsylvania County high schools, community scholarships, and the PCCA. This is a nonprofit organization, and what we're talking about here is giving them a tax exempt for another, $59,000. If you're already making that much over what they normally have to give out, isn't that just another $60,000? We're giving them taxpayers' money to distribute to whomever they want. So, I'm all for it, but if they take this money and put it back into reducing the rates, For those that's gonna sign up for the internet, I'm all for that. But to give them a tax exempt, rather than give them some more money to give out for other programs, I think we shouldn't be doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. There being no one else to sign up, I'll close the public hearing at 7:07. Pleasure.
Mr. Chair, Mr.
Go ahead. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion we approve the Mid-Atlantic Broadband Tax Exemption application as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Barber, seconded by Mr. Blackstock. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, raise your right hand.
We need a roll call vote.
Do a roll call.
Mr. Barksdale?
Yes.
Mr. Sneed? Oh, I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
I would say yes.
Mr. Davis, I greatly apologize. Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Scares?
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock?
Yes.
Mr. Hagerman?
Yes.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Warren?
Yes. Motion carried unanimously. Second item for public hearing is potential leasing of publicly owned property located at 11-880 US Highway 29, Chatham, Virginia, 24531, for the provision of services to operate the public animal shelter in accordance with 3.2-6547 of the Code of Virginia, 1950 as amended. Mr. Smithman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, we are considering the lease and operations of the Pittsylvania County Animal Shelter to a third party, particularly the Lynchburg Humane Society. In mid-April, this board authorized the staff to seek proposals to operate the facility. We had one proposal received, and on May 16th, I believe, you directed staff to negotiate with the sole respondent. Since that time, County Attorney Baden Hunt, myself, as well as representatives from Lynchburg Humane Society, have been in several conversations and present this evening what we believe to be an excellent operating agreement and lease for our animal shelter and the services necessary to operate such. We are very excited that this is a proactive step by the county to improve its animal shelter operations as one part of a two-pronged effort, which next will be to work on our animal control field operations to provide our citizens with a state-of-the-art animal welfare services. Before you this evening is a document that begins on page 123, which is the lease itself and the operating agreement. I'll just point out a few items for both you and the public's consideration as we begin the public hearing. First of all, the lease provided is for a one-year term. That term may be extended by subsequent two-year terms if the county so exercises. And there's a notice provision in there if either party would like to renegotiate or to otherwise evoke termination, a 60-day notice before the end of the term. There's also a provision in there to enact termination for cause at any time if the provider, Lynchburg Humane Society, loses its license or other criminal charges are levied or criminal activity takes place on the premises. Of course, the ownership of the facility remains with the county. The county is not deeding over any property. We are seeking third-party assistance for operational purposes, and that goes for the personal property and the real property remains Pittsylvania County's. One thing that we are very happy to report, and I know that is a priority of this board, is that the county's current 2 employees in our animal shelter will remain serving this animal shelter, but as employees of the Lynchburg Humane Society. And we have worked with Lynchburg to ensure a very smooth transition for all parties. Also very important in the agreement and per your directive, an emphasis on partnering with local animal welfare organizations in Pennsylvania County, as well as our local veterinarian services. They've recently been reaching out to establish partnerships there. The shelter will accept all animals pursuant to Virginia code, so we will operate just like we did. It is proposed as an open admission shelter, just like our current shelter, and of course, livestock and other animals not suitable for the shelter, the county will continue to handle as we have in past practice. As you know, our shelter has never been able to accept cows or chickens or any type of livestock, and we look for third parties to assist us, and we'll continue to in those type situations where we have to take custody or otherwise care for livestock. The Lynchburg Humane Society's mission at our facility is to accept companion animals, domesticated companion animals, just like we accept now at the shelter. The fee for this contract is $260,000 annually, and if we choose to renew for a successive 2-year term, it would be an automatic ratchet of 3%. In other words, 1.5% inflationary factor per year as part of this agreement, but the terms are every 2 years. And then finally, the county will continue to pay for electricity, water and sewer, and the actual maintenance of the facility. Not maintenance as in cleaning, but air conditioning and air conditioner handlers, things like that, things that go with the real property will continue to be our responsibility, as well as grounds maintenance. That is everything I have, Mr. Chairman. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have before you open the public hearing.
Anyone have any questions? This time? Okay. I think we have a presentation from Lieutenant Garble from Lynchburg before we actually open the public hearing.
Thank you very much for allowing me the time to speak. I'm a really casual presenter, so I like to move around a little bit, so I apologize if I do that and get away from the mic. So what I'm going to do first is tell you a little bit about our programs and how we operate currently, because how we operate in Lynchburg will will be how we operate here in Pittsylvania. I'm going to present our plan on what we plan to do at your new shelter, go over some general myths and legends that we've heard lately, and just cover a few things at the end. So here we go. So back in 2009, the Lynchburg Humane Society's Board of Directors decided to take Lynchburg no-kill. And part of that fundamental belief that we started at that time was that most people are good and will be part of the solution if they understand the problem. So that is our core value going into everything that we do, that we believe most people are good and will do the right thing. So a little bit about us. This is our mission statement. We help pets through sheltering, adoption, education, spay, neuter, and community outreach. Our vision statement that we implemented 3 years ago is to have a community free of homeless and neglected pets. In 2011, I said in 2009 we wanted to go no-kill. In 2011, we reached the 90 percentile threshold, which is generally the threshold you want to try and get to. And that is everything nose in, nose out. That's 1-day-old kittens to 15-year-old dogs. We opened our state-of-the-art center, which has been operating since 2015, after raising $5.2 million from the community at large for 2.5 years it took us. I bring that up only because we were a relatively small organization at the time we decided to make the change, and because of that change, we grew really large in the community because everybody wanted to help us get there. And so part of this discussion tonight is we're a community-based operations. We need the community's help in order to be able to do what we need to do. And then we recently began managing the shelter in Appomattox County in January of this year. And so far, we've been able to save 99% of all the pets in that county. So the term no-kill is a very controversial term, and there's been miscommunication in regards to what that means. So I just wanted to make sure it was clear. So no-kill means we're not going to euthanize healthy or treatable pets. We reserve euthanasia for terminally ill animals and those considered dangerous to the public. Being no-kill doesn't mean that you're putting the public at risk. This puppy was treated and adopted. So basically for us, it means we do everything possible not to euthanize a savable pet. We took killing out of the toolbox and found other solutions to the problems. Good example is in our old building, which is about a 6,000 square foot facility, we would run out of space. And so what we would do is we would put out pleas to the public asking for help if they could foster. We put out adoption specials and tried to move animals out of our shelters to responsible homes. We boarded dogs at a local vet's office at a discount so that we didn't have to euthanize. That is what no-kill is. It's generally just trying to find other solutions to the problems other than killing. So our programs, as I said, are very community engaged. We want to create opportunities to engage the community and increase the number of lives saved. We can't solve the problem alone. So our volunteer program is very robust in our new shelter. We have adult and juniors able to come in and volunteer that's 14 years or older. We have children coming in with their adults. We allow that as long as they're being supervised. We work with courts system. We work with schools to do community service hours, and we do a lot with group projects. We plan on keeping that idea going into the Pittsylvania Pet Center. Our foster program, I think it's important because, you know, when you fill up in a shelter with a lot of underage tiny kittens, you have to get them out of your shelter in order to help them stay alive, because the shelter environment is very dangerous for anything not immunized properly. And when they're really tiny, they're really not. So 821 pets were placed in foster care last year in the Lynchburg community. And that is a huge program for us that we plan to also implement here. And I did a cute video because everyone loves kittens, right? So in some shelters in the state of Virginia, these kittens would not make it out the door. They would be euthanized immediately. We don't believe that's the right thing to do. They just need some extra TLC, time in a home to get older, and be able to be placed up for adoption. It won't let me forward. Sorry, I have to play it out. I'll just stand here. It's almost done. Oh, it's not going to go forward on me. Come on. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So these are the types of jobs that our volunteers do every day at our center. We, in 2016, had 21,000 volunteer hours, which is remarkable. Really, it is. We oriented almost 1,000 people, and on average, we have 311 people per month. The other type of volunteers we have are our outreach volunteers, because we do go out into the community and do a lot with adoption promotions. We work with the school system to do educational visits, field trips. We work with the community to reduce the amount of community cats that they're seeing, the nuisance calls, and then also working with our spay-neuter clinic. Our spay-neuter clinic's about half an hour from here, and I'll cover that in a second. So owner assistance. So this is the big controversial topic, right? So basically the idea for our owner surrender program is that we want to be a community resource and create a safety net to help people with their pets' problems. We want to be the last resort for pets coming into a shelter. We don't want to be the first place people think of, except if they need help, then we want to help them with their problems, to help them keep their pets in their home. The best place for a pet is in a home. No matter how nice your shelter is, a caring home is the right place. So our admissions program is open. We take everything in, from, like I said, the tiny kitten to the 17-year-old dog. We ask owners to work with us. We talk to them, we listen to their problems. We offer solutions to those problems. Is it a litter box issue? What can I do to help you with your litter box issue? I know the cat has peed on the wall for the 15th time, but how can I help you so it doesn't happen again because you love your pet? That's the general idea, is trying to give people resources. You provide support. You help them rehome their pet. We have places on our website that we'll also utilize here. There's national sites you can put your pets on to help them find other homes. Just general networking with friends and family and coworkers a lot of times will help you rehome your pet. And then we bring the animal in when we have appropriate space. The general idea is if it's an emergency situation and the owner cannot wait, we will bring the animal in. They have to communicate that to us, though. Sometimes they don't. So we do the best we can. And the reason we do a managed intake is so that we can be available to take in those emergent situations. Stray animals always come in with no appointment. They walk through the door, we take them right in. We do not ask strays, people who good Samaritans who are doing the right thing, picking up a stray pet, we do not ask them to wait. But owners love their pets, generally. Most people are good and will do the right thing if they understand how. And then these are the types of resources we provide. Personalized behavior assistance. We have a pet pantry if someone can't afford their pet. We work with them to see if we can help them with some wellness. We provide food for them. Low-cost spay-neuter clinic, we have one. We have a grant from Petco Foundation to help support some programs here in this county to provide free spay-neuter. Recently I heard about some puppies that ended up in another shelter. So we contacted that owner because we wanted to get that mother fixed. It's not just about taking something in, it's about fixing the problem. We offer rehoming assistance. Obviously, we'll have to learn what your community is in regards to landlords and what types of rental places you have. So we would come up with a list of places that allow pets. And so we could then provide a resource. Because the number one reason we hear a lot of the times of people surrendering is landlord issues. And then a new thing is developing a program where we help people with their deposits. Sometimes they just can't afford to go to a place that allows pets because of the pet deposit. So in general, we want to help people with their problems. We don't want to be a dumping ground. These people love their pets. We want to help them. Okay, so from our website, I only do this because this is the thing that I hear a lot of criticism about. Is on our website, it states very blatantly, if you look in the first paragraph, it says, please work with us and communicate openly. If you cannot wait, then be honest. We know life happens, and it's not always an option for everybody. We just need to know it so that we can then help you. And then we talk about the items that they need to bring in, and yes, we do charge a continuing care fee. Now, I'll be honest with you. We brought in like 2,200 owned animals. We probably made $1.80 on each animal. We do not collect the fee if they cannot afford it. Thus, the next thing under it is, please communicate with us openly. If you cannot even pay the fee, we will waive it. We don't put up barriers for people bringing in animals, but we feel as though we are providing a service. And we are helping someone take over the care of an animal that they took responsibility for. And we're going to incur about $150 per animal. And if we're asking for $20, I think that seems fair. $40 if it's a litter. However, we won't make you pay that if you get the mother fixed. And sometimes we'll do it for free and not charge. So it's just about wanting to, again, fix the problem. And then at the very end, it's stop. If you live in Lynchburg City and you must bring the pet to us. And it just talks about the fact, again, there's 3 different messages on our website. Please bring us the animal. When animals go to other shelters around us, it's very infrequent. And we have worked with those other shelters to call us. And please, we'll come get it. Because it's a Lynchburg pet. And we want to be responsible. We don't want an animal to go to another shelter. It's very important to us that it doesn't. So here's some stats. Of those that have, who contacted us to surrender their pets, 636 people did not have to wait on the waiting list. They walked right in the door. We didn't ask any questions. They couldn't wait. We didn't make them. And that's out of 2,031 owner-surrendered pets last year. 1,016 pets came in through our appointment system. So people are willing to wait if they understand the reasons. 45% of the owners who contact us either kept their pet or they rehomed it themselves. That is a wonderful thing to do. We want to keep pets out of shelters. 8 people took their pet to the local county shelter where they lived, because we do accept owner surrenders from outside of our area. So if you live in Campbell County, we have one on the waiting list right now from Roanoke. We will take those pets in. They just have to work with us and come in when we have the space. Sometimes they can't wait, and so sometimes they would go to their county shelter, but that's where they live. Or they worked with a local rescue organization to help them, and that's even better. So far this year, 164 owned and stray pets have come into our shelter from other counties. We do our part to help others within our area because we don't want to see any pet die. So, community cats. In 2011, the Lynchburg Humane Society decided to stop taking in feral cats. Now, this is different. Community cats are cats that are free roaming outside, may not be wild, could just be outside, living outside. So in 2011, we got a grant from PetSmart Charities to start spaying and neutering all the cats that lived outdoors in the city of Lynchburg for free. So in the number of years that we've been doing it, we've done over 4,000 cats for free in the city of Lynchburg. What that did for us is it reduced our kitten intake. And so we were able to see reduced amount of kittens coming into the shelter. Now, since we've opened our doors of our new center, we're getting a lot more animals and kittens coming in. So we're not sure where they're coming from, so we've ramped up this program again to try and reduce the amount of kittens. And we've included some of the surrounding counties in order to affect more change more regionally. So, feral cats are not domesticated. They're wild. They're in the environment. And the traditional way of dealing with them has been catching and euthanizing them. And they've been doing this for decades. I've been in the field for 17 years, and they would probably be doing it 20 years before that. Do we still have feral cats? Yes. This is a method, the trap, neuter, and return, is a method in order to start to see a reduction of your cats and your nuisance calls. They're being cared for already. They're being fed by somebody. There's a food source there. So the idea is you get them fixed, you keep them where they're already living, and you see a reduction in the amount of cats over years. It's a relatively new program in the large scope of how long we've been doing animal sheltering. So there are a lot of data points for this. There's communities where they've seen the reduction, and then you'll hear from the other side that there aren't any. So this is a very controversial topic, but you have to ask yourself, it hasn't been working. Isn't it time to do something different? And that's all we're suggesting. When we work with the community, we help people. The little old lady who's been feeding the 15 cats for the last 20 years and just wants to get them fixed, they want to keep them, but they don't want to see them grow. It's a matter of working with the community members to assist them with their situation. We do take in feral cats when they're mothers that have kittens or pregnant. We have been known to take in feral cats if they're ill and don't look good, and we treat them, and then we find them a good barn to go live in. So it's not a blanket no or never, but it is certainly a better way of dealing with the problem. And lastly, we engage our community. We develop a lot of great programs in order to get as many people in the door as we possibly can. Children's camps, cat yoga, which is always fun, food truck events. We have a reading wagon for kids to come in and read to the dogs and cats, which is really fabulous to see. We do a lot with adoption events, and we also work with other rescue organizations around us to have mega adoption events. We'll have a bunch of animals up for adoption at our center. I expect we would do the same. So, all right, plans for Pittsylvania. I'll be fast, I promise. So current staff, we're going to keep, as has already been suggested. We're keeping the current staff. We're going to bring them into our facility and train them to how we clean and how we operate. We're going to hire new staff members, probably between 11 and 13 new staff members to come in. We're going to do that locally, probably have a big job fair. We're going to continue the type of marketing and fundraising that has been so successful for us. We have decided that we should brand this center as a Pittsylvania Pet Center and make that a brand all in itself. Now, whether it looks like this, I don't know. This is just something I threw together rather quickly. But the whole idea is this is a Pittsylvania community center. We'll do a lot of advertising and marketing. You know, we'll have radio ads. We'll do a lot with social media, billboards, you name it. We try and really market ourselves pretty well. Our fundraising. So it's going to be an interesting transition for us because a lot of our fundraising does happen in Lynchburg. So what we'll do is probably use those elements here in Pennsylvania. We'll do a newsletter, we'll do mailings, we'll solicit for grant funding just for this community. And you'll see the Petco Foundation, that's our Jumpin' for Joy. And that money is to be earmarked for parts of this project. So yes, if someone walks into the center to make a donation, that money stays at the center. And we do plan on having local representation from this community on our board of directors. We actually met today and discussed some possibilities. And then we want to have a local advisory committee put together to help us with fundraising, because we don't know a lot of the great, wonderful people in this community who love pets. So we're looking for help from the community to be able to do a lot of this work. Operations. We want to be open 6 to 7 days a week. I didn't put hours on here because what we found in Appomattox is we had hours that were from 11 to 5, and most people came in after lunch and wanted to come in after work. So we'll probably be 11 to 6, 11 to 7. We're not real sure on the whole traffic, and more than likely open every single day. We're going to continue to have an open and friendly adoption process. We're very customer service oriented. We look at individual pets to make sure we're finding the right homes for them, and vice versa. Are the pets' needs being met? Are the people's needs being met? But we do it in a very open and friendly way. We're going to be establishing medical protocols. We'll be vaccinating everything coming in the door. I've already met with the local veterinarians. They're very eager to help us. Dr. Irwin and Dr. Shorter, I think that's her name, are very excited to come in a couple times a week to help us, and are willing to donate some time to help the medical cases that we're going to end up seeing. Each adoption will be provided with a microchip, initial vaccines, a free spay neuter, pet insurance, and they'll get a free vet visit. We'll obviously continue the foster and volunteer programs, our owner assistant program. We have a program where all the animals get loaded into a database. And so when an animal comes in as a lost pet, it automatically comes up on our website. So citizens can sit in their home and take a look at all the lost pets on our website to see if the animal's in our shelter. So it's just an added bonus that we have. And then, of course, our spay neuter resources. As I said, we have a clinic that's a half an hour away. I know that there's one opening up here in Chatham. We plan to utilize that as well. Community partners, I'll be quick. Businesses, we do a lot with businesses in our community. You'll see on this poster, Terry Subaru is one of our great sponsors. For a month, they're on our, every time someone gets adopted, we hashtag them and, you know, make a big whirlwind fun thing. We work with boarding facilities, local trainers, obviously community foundations. Local government, we work really well with our ACOs. Lynchburg is very easy to work with. They let us know their needs, and we're just there to shelter and do what they need us to do in regards to the court cases, the bite cases, owner assistance, and hoarding cases. They even help us with education. They'll come in and speak to our groups and talk to kids about proper care. And then we also partner with school systems, and we plan to do that and perhaps look at the VOTEC systems here. Other organizations, as it said in the contract, we're excited to be working with the SPCA of Pittsylvania County, Happy Tales, and all the other neighboring counties around us. We want to be inclusive, not exclusive. Like I said, we can't do it alone. And then the list below are the national organizations or state-level organizations that we already partner with. All right, I swear it's almost over. We hoard animals. This is my favorite. We hoard animals so we don't have to euthanize them. Our average length of stay for a dog is 19 days. The average length of stay for a cat is ever changing. It's 42 days right now. The reason it's 42 days is we just saw that video. We have a bunch of kittens we have to hold for 2 months until they're old enough, and we see a lot of kittens. So cats are going to stay a little longer, not because people don't want them, but because they usually come in young. We're not afraid to euthanize animals. I want to make that clear. So when they say that it's just a numbers game and we're manipulating things, or it's a fundraising ploy, every animal that leaves us alive is a number, yes, and it's a life. And we don't look at the numbers when we have to make a decision. We euthanized 5 animals in the last 2 weeks, all dogs for aggressive reasons. We don't look at our stats and say, oh, we can't euthanize this dog today because it's going to put us under the 90 percentile range. It's just not, it's not normal practice. What we do is make the right decision based on that animal that's in front of us, and we do what's right for the community. We send our animals to other shelters to be euthanized. It's not true. We pick and choose what we bring in, which is something I've heard a lot recently. Oh, and Bigfoot is real and living at our shelter. So, to us, this is funny stuff. I mean, we look at this and go, this is crazy. Who says that? I mean, how would you operate that way? So I put the levity in there because I think it's sometimes we have to laugh. And so I just wanted 2 quick stories. This is Grace, came in from an owner surrender. She's about 3 years old. She had a fungal infection internally, which I've never heard of in my entire career. And she also had some orthopedic surgery that we needed to do. And so she would have to be with us for about 2 to 3 months as we went through the fungal infection. And then the cost alone was going to be in the thousands. We found somebody to help donate the fees to be able to treat her. And instead of euthanizing her, we found her a great home. But more importantly, we didn't turn her away when she came into the shelter. And this is Blue Beauty, 17-year-old owner surrender. I know everyone's going to be mad at the owner, but honestly, we are non-judgmental. We know that we're here for a reason, and we're here to help people, and we don't feel like being judgmental of people that need our help. So the mother who was caring for the animal because her son was in the National Guard couldn't do it any longer. So, we brought the animal in, and we got it adopted. Believe it or not, senior pets have a lower length of stay than adults. People feel sorry for them, and they can take them into their home. All right, swear, last one. Okay, so the estimated cost for us, we figured, to run the shelter is $435,000. We're asking for $260,000. Why the heck are we doing this? We're doing this because of animals like this. We do not feel that this animal should be euthanized to end its suffering. We believe that it should be cured so it can be found a home. And lastly, I just wanted to show you the stats. The one thing I hear a lot in these rural communities, and sure, we're rural, it's Virginia, but in 2006, we came from Richmond, a colleague and I came to this area and spoke to a group of people about how to implement new programs in order to reduce the amount of lives being euthanized. They told us it couldn't happen. Could not be done here. We're too rural. There's not enough people who care about their pets. And in 2009 is when they decided to implement these programs, when they hired me to do so. And you can see from there how we've progressed and how the euthanasia numbers have dropped. It can be done. People are the same everywhere. Final thoughts. Yes, we love these people. This is a wonderful group that we work with in Lynchburg. They're a biker group. We are solution-based in our thinking. If one doesn't work, we're going to keep trying. And we are going to make mistakes. We're going to fail. You're going to get the call. And we're going to say, oops, you're right. We shouldn't have done that, and we'll do better. We're an organization run by people. People make mistakes. People sometimes don't do the right thing. And sometimes we're going to stumble. We're just going to have to learn from those mistakes and do better. There will always be isolated incidences, but do the stats and the facts end up? Are the stories coming from a place of fear, or are they coming from a place of trust? And ultimately, we just need the public's help to solve the problem, and we're asking them to be responsible and allow us to help them with their problems. So that's it. But I want to say one thing. You're going to have a lot of noise coming at you tonight, probably, right? I'm sure you've gotten a lot of emails. Everybody in this room loves animals, and we're all here for the same reason. And we all have different philosophies. So I think we all just need to take a breath and remember that. We're all here because we care. We just care a little differently, and that's okay. We all have our own way of doing things, and that's okay. And so I thank you very much for my long presentation.
Ms. Yarber, can you stay up? I'd like to ask the board if they have any questions before we actually open the public hearing. Any questions, Mr. Yarber?
Just want to make a quick comment. When we started going down this route of the new shelter, one thing I did was some research, and I found your website and started looking at all the things that you did, and I just want to say it was fantastic what you were able to do for Lynchburg. And I'm so happy, not only because of the fundraising, but because of the partnership with the community, and I think that's going to be important for a lot of the groups here. But I'm looking forward to working with you. I know we haven't gotten to that point yet, but I'm excited about what you can do for the county.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Yarber, we may want you to come back at the end.
I'm right
but-
here.
Okay. We, as Ms. Yarber so eloquently put, let's remember tonight as we open our public hearing that we are here because we all love our pets and love the animals and want to do what's best for Pittsylvania County and animals here. So let's be respectful of one another as we come forward. I will open the public hearing at 8:44, and the first citizen that signed up. And as you come forward, please state your name and the district that you're from.
744.
I'm sorry, 744. Thank you. Keep it straight. 744. Maybe we'll be out by 8:44.
I'll be asleep by 8:40.
Jordan Key. One thing, Ms. Key, before you start, I do want to remind everyone that we do have a lighting system. Everyone's allowed 3 minutes. When you see the amber light come on, you have approximately 1 minute left. Thank you, Ms. Key.
I don't think I'll need 3 minutes.
Okay.
A couple years ago, I was here at this podium saying, we need to do something. We need a new shelter. We need a new shelter. This is happening. And I cannot tell you how incredibly proud I am of each and every one of you for making this happen, for caring about the people's voice in the county, and for caring about the animals. I am proud of each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Key. Second, we have Jody Tompkins.
Hi, I'm Jody, and I'm from Chatham, and sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Well, that's all right. We are too.
I just wanted to say that, you know, all the animals of this county deserve a chance at a good life. And all of us love our pets, and I think that this is the step in the right direction, because honestly, why build this new shelter that's wonderful, that everybody's donated towards, in order to start from scratch? Why not let somebody who knows what they're doing start us off the right way? And I think that she's going to do a wonderful job.
Thank you. Next is Terry Babbitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, supervisors, and residents of Pittsylvania County. I'm a resident of Bedford County, but I love the Lynchburg Humane Society. 6 years ago, I visited the old Humane Society in Lynchburg, and it was deplorable. The structure was awful. The facility was a mess. Well, my wife and I adopted a couple of cats, and we have absolutely loved them since then. In the last 2 years, I'm a volunteer. I'm a retired businessman. Some people call me Bigfoot, by the way. So Bigfoot really does show up at Lynchburg Humane Society. But I volunteer over there, and I'm in and out fairly frequently. And what this staff has done under the leadership of McKenna and the volunteers, they have raised an army for the animals that is incredible. Hundreds and hundreds of people in Lynchburg have come together in a community to help save the pets. And any time of the day or night when you go over there, if they're open, there are kids in there, they're in classes, there are people in there doing exercises, birthday parties. They have created an environment where people are excited to go visit the pets. And by the way, having a beautiful facility like you have built here is a big step. Once you get that open, you'll have people coming from all parts of the county and other areas to come and help and bring pets home with them and save the animals. That's what this army that they have raised has done. They have raised the army, and people care. They care about their pets, and they bring joy to everybody who comes in there, even if you don't take a pet home. We have people that come in there, I've seen them in there dozens of times. They come in, they just spend an hour visiting, and they come back regularly. It's terrific, and I think you'll experience that as well. And the way they have been fundraising is dynamic, and you'll find that out. They'll be sticking their hands in your pockets to help out. So congratulations on your new center, and good luck with your decision to move forward on this. And I hope the Lynchburg Humane Society can help bring no kill to this community. Thank you.
Next up is Kathleen East.
Hi, I'm Catherine East, and I'm in the Callan-Scranton District, and I'm the president of the SPCA. And I just want to let you all know that this is the best idea that's ever come out of this county in the 25 years I've lived here. And the SPCA is 100% behind anything that McKenna has to do and anything you guys agree to do with her. Thanks.
Next is Stephen East.
I know her from somewhere.
It's okay to say ditto.
Yeah, ditto. Yeah. Just real quick, I'm Stephen East. I'm with the Gretna Callens. I'm related to her by marriage, actually. So, I'm on the board of the SPCA also with her, and I do the special projects, set up kennels and do type stuff. And one of the things I want to point out, and McKenna touched on about rehoming pets. You know, there's always that one factor in euthanasia rates that gets overlooked is euthanizing a dog or a cat or a pet for space. And it has been a practice for years. We've had with our new shelter manager, we've got a call. We had a couple of dogs that we had space. We had to go get them. And you met him. Oreo got adopted Saturday. So that's really good. And the other one's doing fine. But we will continue to offer as SPCA those services. We work with 60 rescues from the state line of Virginia, a couple of them, some of the breed specific, such as Great Pyrenees down in North Carolina and Richmond, to get dogs all the way to Maine. And they get up there. I got a Christmas card from one of my beagles that I fostered that is in living in Martha's Vineyard now. And he has a pool and 2 kids, so he's pretty happy. But we would like to continue to support to do that. And by her taking over and doing the adoptions and everything, that'll allow us to grow more, to help educate the public, to help those people who need help with fixing their cats and dogs, with food, with education, with going in the schools and helping also. So it's a great benefit to the county. You're saving money, and you've got 2 workers right now, and your animal control that have worked out. The 2 workers in the shelter have made a great difference over the last year, and it's really, really neat that you're keeping them on and that you're keeping them on. You got 2 good people and a couple of animal control officers that are great. So thank you very much.
Jennifer Foley.
I'm Jennifer Foley. I'm in the Tunstall District of Pittsylvania County, and I just kind of mirroring what everyone else says, especially what Ms. Key said. I think I've been in this county 14 years now, and this is probably, in the past couple of years, the first time I feel like we've actually been heard, that animals deserve a chance and that they deserve to live and that they matter. And I just say that I really appreciate each and every one of you making the decision to first build the shelter and now hopefully moving into bigger and better things, that this county doesn't have to kill for space and kill just because they're there, that their lives matter and that they can be adopted and go to their forever homes with the help of Lynchburg Humane Society. So I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that, of course, you guys will vote yes for McKenna.
Phyllis Roach.
Thank you. My name is Phyllis Roach. I'm a retired educator and a resident of Hurt, Virginia. And what I want to say is I thought I would have a lot of questions when I came here tonight. So I want to thank the Humane Society because I come up now with no questions and just a statement. As a retired educator, I want to comment on the effect that I have seen a well-managed shelter have on kids. I volunteered for 15 years in my former place where I lived. I'll say it's California, don't hold that against me. We're not all hippies out there.
You are a native of Hurt, though.
I am. I really am. I live next to his mother. But what I want to say is, as an educator, I was constantly thrilled at the connection the shelter would make with, say, for example, the local VOTEC and the training those kids could then get for, vet tech careers, grooming, dog training, even running a nonprofit. They could volunteer and get training for free that perhaps they wouldn't get in school. And the little kids learned humanity, they learned how to care for animals, they learned responsibility, and this area being as church-centric as it is, I see a lot of service groups from the churches going out and doing work, and I can fully see this shelter connecting with church volunteer groups as part of the greater message of their mission. And I just want to say, I think the kids in this county, and not only the pets, will really benefit from this, and so I want to thank you for what you've done to make this happen. It's a nice thing to come back to after being gone from this county for 37 years, and I'm really happy to see it. It's very progressive.
We're happy to have you back. Bill Fox.
Bill Fox, Chatham, Virginia. I appreciate talking to you. A lot of folks talk about the good old days. I can remember some good old days, but they weren't as good as they presented sometimes. I can remember growing up, I'm probably the oldest person in Pittsylvania County. I don't know, it was a long time ago. It wouldn't raise an eyebrow if somebody threw a bag full of puppies in a creek, or people shot dogs and cats for sport, fun, or whatever they were having. And so it's really nice to see it going the other direction, a long ways in the other direction. So I appreciate what you've done, what everybody else has done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. Next citizen signed up is Kathy Spiegel.
Good evening, and it is so nice to be here on behalf of the Lynchburg Humane Society. I've got my shirt on. I'm Kathy Spiegel, an old retired nurse, and I've been volunteering at the new facility there since they opened in 2015. Mostly, I do the laundry. Okay, I wash some dishes and I play with the animals, but I love playing with people. But should you ever want me to help you with the laundry, you just let me know. And as an old teacher as well, I've taught a lot of other people how to do the laundry mess. But I love the place. I love the people. I love the passion, the energy, the gotta get in here and get some towels and some blankets and some washcloths because I got a lot of, and so I try to have a nice pile all ready for these busy helping hands to get back out to the area where they're doing their pet care. Veterinarians, all the staff, Terry Babbitt, a volunteer who has made about 50 crates and dog houses and climbing statues for cats to look and walk and live with us and cuddle in and be cozy. They're, marvelous, thank you very much, creative kinds of crafts that he has given to the Humane Society. I've met 2 volunteers that have walked dogs for 14 years. The old facility, the new facility. 5 days a week. They tell me all kinds of sweet stories. Someone may walk up and say, does anyone know anything about that little beagle? And I'll say, Carol. She says, yes, I know the little beagle. I can tell you all about it. So that the volunteers with a long-standing passion and sense of giving and caring absolutely makes it my home away from home. I really do love working there, helping there. I give cats and dogs and staff some treats because I love that too. Anyway, it's a marvelous facility. I'm so pleased to be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Mr. James D. Hart.
James D. Hart, Westover District. It looked like we have some good programs from what she showed us here. There's a couple of questions I had about it is, how much effort did y'all put into finding someone locally to run this? I mean, we spent a lot of money on the building, the land, an excessive amount. So I would have thought maybe you would put more time in trying to find someone locally to do it. We have some good programs here, and a couple of questions I'd like to ask about that is, when it's filled to capacity with your cats and dogs, and they bring them in, do you still take them in? Or will they be turned away?
This is technically not a question and answer time.
Well, that's a question.
Yeah.
But that's one of the questions I would have about it. That's it. Thank you.
Last up, I'd been indicated to me, and I'm not sure he was aware it was indicated to me, but we have the Honorable Charles Hawkins, who's now retired from our state legislator. Would you like to say anything?
I was trying to Mark Twain years ago, was on speaking to him, and a young man came up to him and says, Mr. Twain, what kind of advice can you give me I'm about to get into politics? He said, young man, the best advice I can give you, never miss an opportunity to keep your mouth shut. But unfortunately, you have. Thank y'all for the maturity you have shown in guiding this county into this century. This makes a difference, not only today, but the way we will approach the rest of this century will be built on these foundation blocks. This county is moving forward in a good way. With the telecommunication systems, with the things you're putting in place, the infrastructure is there, and this is a capstone when it comes to public relations. You'll be surprised what those do for us. And I thank each and every one of you for what you have done, and the maturity you have shown in the leadership. It makes a difference. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I've lived here all my life, and I want to spend the rest of it here. And with this leadership, I can think of no better place to be. Thank you.
That seemed a little self-serving, didn't it?
We paid him well.
I meant for us. Okay. Ms. Yarber, would you like to answer the one question?
Yes, and it's hard to come after that, right? So to answer that question, we take in animals that are needing to come to us regardless if we're full. And being full to us isn't a bad thing. It means we're helping animals. So what we do a lot of the times is we reach out to community members asking for help for foster care. And also we do a lot with adoption promotions. So, right now we have a lot of cats. So we'll do a Free Cat Friday, probably this Friday, to move cats out so we can continue to bring cats in. So the answer is we do not turn away people who are in emergent care. But we do ask owners to work with us. So we will communicate with them if we're full. And hopefully they'll let us know that they can't wait and we won't make them. Does that answer that question? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I will close. I'll close the public hearing at 8:03. Board's pleasure.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the RFP number 17-04-19 that the board be awarded to Lynchburg Humane Society Incorporated for the operation of the county's new animal shelter and authorize the execution of the animal shelter operational agreement and lease with the Lynchburg Humane Society Incorporated.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Blackstock, seconded by Mr. Davis. Open it up for discussion or comments from the board.
Just briefly.
Mr. Blackstock.
Mr. DeHart, I understand you being a local taxpayer, and other people have approached me with that question also. But I don't think we have anybody, in fact, unless they haven't stepped forward, that can come close to the background and skills that this group possesses to operate our new facility. We have spent over $3 million, and believe me, I've heard a lot about $3.2 million doghouse around country stores, but when you take the time to explain to people what we're trying to do and move forward in a progressive way, in the way we treat animals in this county, we built this nice facility and we're getting ready to open it, but if we continue to operate like we always have, we'll be right back to where we were. And that's not where we need to be. We are trying to develop this county with progressive businesses, educate our children in an appropriate way, and this is just one big piece of it. And when I became a member of this board about 3 years ago, and I've been in government most of my life, in fact, all of my adult life, and I ran the jail, by the way, in Lynchburg, and it's the best ran jail in the state, by the way. I don't know about the animal shelter, but I know about the jail. But this is an important piece of the future of our county, and what we have been doing in the past just was not appropriate. And when I discovered what was going on over there, I kept hearing these little bits and pieces, and it wasn't our employees' fault. We had 2 or 3 animal control officers trying to clean the shelter and run all over the county. I think it's 984 square miles in this county. I think I'm right on that. Can you imagine how those county employees operated on a daily basis? It was like putting out fires, I'm sure. And I'm not looking back to blame anybody, but if leaders don't lead, and sometimes you have to take some criticism to move forward, then we're not doing our job. So I can take a little criticism. I really believe in this, and I'm very supportive of it. And I think we're going in the right direction.
Thank you, Mr. Blackstock. Mr. Davis.
Yeah, let me make two statements. First and foremost, I would say to Mr. DeHart as well as to all, is that we, as the Board of Supervisors, we have to look at certain types of information in Pittsylvania County. We won't, and we expect this from the county administrator, and we also have a mission statement. We expect, and we're going to demand and command nothing less than making Pittsylvania County the #1 county in the state of Virginia. And that is our goal. And that is our desire. Thank you, Mr. Hawkins. Thank you for the speech. I started to give you my seat. Let me just go sit down. I've been knowing Mr. Hawkins for quite a while. He's done a sensational job. But not only does this facility that we're putting in place, it attracts tourism, canoeing, camping. You say, how does that all tie in? With nice trails, also with the centers where the children come in the playgrounds and all, because we have companies that are beyond this country and this continent that are looking into this area to move their operations of business here. And they look for this type of infrastructure, and that's called growth into the future. And I have to look back at my children, my grandchildren, and your children, grandchildren, all of you guys, to look for jobs in the future. That's the way I see this. And they like nice animal shelters. And we've got corporations that are coming when they break ground. I'm not allowed to give that information out. But that's what they look for, and they bring their families over here. I would like to address that. And secondly, I want to thank you, Mademoiselle. May I say, Madam, Ms. Yarborough? And I'm going to tell you why I weigh in on your statements tonight. Not only have I already saw your publications earlier in work sessions, I've looked at all the figures, and I've already made the statements a no-brainer. But what I respect about you is that there is a famous gentleman who is well known throughout the United States and probably the world, who's an investor. And I have studied his paradigm or model, if you please, when it comes to investment, and that was this. He would invest in no company, and I know of a company right now that I know of that probably wouldn't make the criteria. He would not invest in any company or corporation that would not tell the truth, where their strengths are at, and Ms. McKenna has done that, Ms. Yarborough, as well as their weaknesses and their ability to fail and nevertheless to get up and keep moving forward to grow thereby. He would not invest in any company that would not tell him the fact sheets there. He doesn't want to hear about all the positives, and you're not a failure, you don't fail at things. You wouldn't get his investment dollars. That's Warren Buffett. So that's why I placed my full weight on supporting you. Thank you.
Mr. Barksdale.
I don't think my mic is on, but Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I just want to thank all of the citizens for coming here. You did what you do when you believe in something, you stand up for it. And I know I've had some limited interactions with members of the Pittsylvania County SPCA, and I've said it before, and I'll just say it again tonight. Some of the most committed and dedicated citizens have been some of those members that I've had the privilege to interact with. So you did good, and I just wish we would have on other issues where we would see as many people come out and show their concerns, no matter what it is. So I just want to thank and applaud all of you for standing up what you believe in. Thank you.
Any other board member have anything to comment and say? Okay, I have a few comments to make. First of all, back to Mr. DeHart. Mr. DeHart, as the county would in every situation that we're sending something out like this for a leasing or operational situation, we will do an RFP. an RFP was sent out and put on the website, notified in the paper. Everyone had an opportunity to present a bid and an option, as Ms. Yarborough and Lynchburg Humane Society did. Unfortunately, or fortunately maybe for us, but no one locally chose to venture any interest or show any interest in that process. So that was done. We are looking out after the interest of Pittsylvania County citizens and being sure we're cognizant of our local folks, and certainly we applaud your efforts in saying you're going to use Pittsylvania County citizens. I really applaud you from the standpoint of, it sounds like you're going to create 11 brand-new jobs in Pittsylvania County for Pittsylvania County citizens. I call that an economic development win, so we appreciate that very much. I also want to pause just for a second because I feel like, as chairman, I would be remiss not to thank the entire board for this effort. There has been a lot of hours and a lot of time spent concerning this project, and I appreciate each and every one of them. We have several here that, actually a couple that mentioned Lynchburg in advance and told us they had done some research on them and all, and kind of got us making some contacts initially, not even for you to operate, but for you to help us maybe do our own thing in the best manner possible. So I appreciate the fact that, and I think the citizens need to know this, Ms. Yarborough and Lynchburg Humane Society was willing to come here and help us had we decided that we felt like we wanted to do it ourselves. So thank you very much. That's unbelievable professionalism, and would have been a great gift if we had chose that course, and we'll see tonight. Also, I want to send out a special thank you to my colleague Elton Blackstock, who heads up our committee for this. Outstanding job, my friend. Outstanding job. I also want to thank our entire staff for the county, because as we've had conversations today with Mr. Smitherman and Mr. Hunt, been a lot of hours. We think we spent a lot of hours, multiply it 20 or 30 times, and that's how many hours they've got in it. So I particularly want to thank the entire staff, and in particular, our county administrator, Mr. David Smitherman, our county attorney, Mr. Vaden Hunt, and our assistant county administrator, Mr. Greg Sides. Nice job, gentlemen. Nice job. And lastly, but not leastly, Ms. Yarborough, I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but I want to thank you for everything you've done to this point. You have handled yourself with integrity and with professionalism, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Mr. Hunt, do we need a roll call?
Yes, sir.
Roll call, Ms. Flippin.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Mr. Barksdale.
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock.
Yes.
Mr. Barber.
Yes.
Mr. Scares.
Yes.
Mr. Hagerman.
Yes.
Mr. Warren.
Absolutely, yes. There being no further business tonight, I declare this meeting adjourned.